What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is all about this weekend's big fixture between Ireland and England taking place at Twickenham this weekend. Quite a bit is on the line. A lot of people are excited about this one to see whether or not Ireland have bounced back indeed, or could England come back from their loss against Wales this past weekend. It was all hype when England beat Wales, and the changes were happening, and Eddie Jones went with a mixed squad, and it really worked for him. But then the following week, it was a slower game, not as energetic, if one could say, and England didn't pick up the win. Wales did, therefore becoming the new number one. But this weekend, that can all change. We could see, for the first time, another new number one, and that would be Ireland if they beat England, which could be something special for Ireland, especially as they build up for this Rugby World Cup and get closer and closer to what should be one of the greatest Rugby World Cup tournaments ever. I mean, this game has a lot on the line, really, and I know people say, oh, it's a warm-up, well, what's the point? But warm-up or not, there's still points to prove, players who need to show up and develop and really make, for example, England let Eddie Jones know that they haven't made a stuff up, or he hasn't made a stuff up by choosing the particular players. Same goes for Ireland. They haven't really announced their squad yet. So there's still players who will be battling out in the last minutes and games in order to put their hand up and get that selection in order to play for Ireland. There's quality in both squads. You got Farrell versus Sexton, which should be amazing. You got Furlong versus Vunipola if he plays this weekend. Battles, I mean, brilliant battles. You got Peter O'Mahony versus Billy Vunipola, which is two intense rugby players who we're going to see really go at it. Even Steve Hansen if he's available for the game. So a lot on the line and a lot to prove for these teams as they go forward. I mean, Ireland will jump to the top of the world rankings if they beat England. I mean, a win by any margin, that's all they need to do in order to go up there. And the question everyone's been talking about since Wales have taken over from the All Blacks as number one, everyone's saying, yeah, but how can they be number one if they haven't even beaten New Zealand in the past 10 years? How can they be regarded as one of the best teams if they aren't, I don't know, able to do those kind of things? But people forget they were on a 14-match winning streak. They won the Six Nations. They grand slammed it. They beat teams on a higher level. Therefore, they climbed up the rankings, and that gave them the strength to do so. So that should clear things up, really. But I do get what the All Black fans are trying to say is, in order to be the best, you've got to beat the best, and you haven't beaten the best, so therefore, how are you the best? So there's a lot of things that could take place this weekend. I know if Ireland really take on England, they will just continue to drop in points margin, therefore increasing South Africa's opportunity to go ahead. If England win, Ireland will obviously drop a bit, and they can have a chance to maybe go third if they win by a certain amount of margins. But yeah, could the change happen this weekend where we see Ireland taking on England and Ireland maybe beating England in order to win the world number one title kind of thing? Obviously, it's all talk about the Rugby Championship. That's what people want to see, and that's what people are talking about as we go forward for this big game. But in order to, surprises could happen. We could see England totally dominate. I mean, they are at home, and we saw what they did to Wales when they were at home. So that's going to be a big advantage for England going forward. The motivation, the passion, the power of the crowd, which will definitely be the key movement as they go forward into this Rugby World Cup warm-up game. So yeah, it's an interesting battle for them to take on. So apparently a win by any margin would see them leapfrog South Africa into fourth. So if England win by any margin, 1 point, 2 point, half a point, they will go back to fourth. Therefore, South Africa dropping back down. It's quite confusing to understand and to gather in the whole story of the World rugby rankings, but it's just interesting stats of how, excuse me, in 1 week we could see 3 number ones. We saw England, we saw England, we saw All Blacks, then we saw Wales, could we see Ireland? 3 teams taking that number 1 spot. And again, does it give us any inclusion as to whether Ireland or England could win the Rugby World Cup, or as to whether we could see a change in this whole thing? I mean, I saw an image today. South Africa, Australia, New Zealand dominate the World Cup trophy with that lonely England shirt sitting there by itself. Could we see a change this year in bringing Ireland, England, or Wales, or who knows, maybe France after the way they played against Scotland? Could we see it happen? And that is going to be the interesting thing this weekend. Again, it's going to be epic. It's going to be a contest. I'll go into more detail on that game during the week as we approach the big one between England and Ireland. We'll go into predictions, stats, and all that jazz. But I just wanted to touch base and say we could see a new number 1 by the end of this week, which is crazy. It's a crazy thought. The rankings, as I mentioned in excuse me, in the previous video, are so close. Anyone wants an opportunity here, and that's going to be the key going forward. And yeah, I'm curious, I'm excited. But also just a reminder to each and every one of you guys, on Saturday, England versus Ireland, I will be live streaming it. So I will be talking with you guys, sharing my thoughts, getting the reactions of tries and all that stuff, sharing jokes and whatever it may be with you all. So make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell notification. I will set a reminder for the live stream on Saturday. So don't go anywhere. It is going to be epic. I particularly cannot wait for this live stream and this game. It is going to be absolutely insane. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you real soon for another video. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.